All right, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So near-death experience on the death's door. They saved him. They had to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Beth did to save him, and here he is on the show a week later. How you doing, brother?
Okay, man.
I might exaggerate just a little bit. All right, so just everybody knows this is Mark Putton, big good friend of mine. Tons of respect for him. Very knowledgeable about health and fitness and mental health. Has trained everybody, Navy SEALs, hockey players, moms, kids, does it all. Patriot training system is his business, and he just got done surgery last week on his. What did they call the surgery?
It's excuse me. The diagnosis is inguinal hernia, which is so basically your testicles go up inside your body. There's like a couple tubes that go inside you, and it's 75% of hernias are this type of hernia, and most of those are the right side for whatever reason. They're not even sure what causes it. They think it may be hereditary. They may think it's just wear and tear. It could be anything. But my guess is, when I spoke to the surgeon about this, is that like you and I both, and anybody who played hockey, we've all ripped our groins, torn them, and that may have led to this. But so that's what they do is they go in, they take a piece of mesh, and they cover the hole. And
you
then
call Piano Man for now. You're called Piano Man for now.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks, Barry.
And so what they do is they put the mesh in and they sew you back up, and then the healing process begins.
Little pain?
Yeah. So the first couple of days pretty rough.
Get done Friday. No, Thursday you got done, correct?
Thursday I had it, yeah. Got home around, I want to say 2:00 in the afternoon on Thursday. And you're so whacked out from the anesthesia. You're just kind of loopy. Friday and Saturday. Yesterday was still, but today I feel better, much better. I think each day's.
Pain medication?
I only took it Friday evening.
Right. Now, of all your wonderful friends that you have, who contacted you the morning of the surgery to wish you
Tom Laidlaw.
Thank
Tom
you very
Laidlaw
much.
did. Yes, sir. So let me just. I don't know if you could see the holes.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's not
so. Wait, where am I going here? So there's 3 holes here, and so this is where he went and repaired. This is where he's looking to this side. He checked, or I'm sorry, three holes. They check all over just to make sure that there were no other tears in there.
Oh, so there's not cutting you open. They're just going in with the scope and the tubes and.
Yeah, so they drill those holes in you, and then they go in and they look around, and then they sew you. They put the mesh in and sew you back up.
Yeah,
the whole thing took about 2 hours.
You were knocked out, right?
Oh yeah, I was under for probably 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah. I was real proud of myself when I got I got a vasectomy. I didn't get knocked out for that. I sat there and watched the whole.
Yeah, no, you're a better man than me for sure.
Oh, but, that's a little bit different than what you got done.
Yeah, but still all one and the same. It's So I was talking to Bruce Driver about it. He had the same thing done, but he was still playing.
Oh.
And at that time, there weren't a lot of doctors who were really good at this procedure.
Yeah. Right.
And he flew up to Boston to get it done. And I don't know if he flew home the day after, but he said the turbulence was so bad that the ride home was just awful. I couldn't even imagine that. Yeah, because even the car ride home, I was like, because you're just really uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So the theory is, though, that once it's all healed up, a certain number of weeks or whatever, then you're back to 100%.
Yeah, it should be good. So 2 weeks of just kind of minimal, like really not doing much. And then after 2 weeks, I could do some cardio. Maybe, I don't know what I'll figure something out. Right. And then at the conclusion of 6 weeks, I'll be cleared to do anything I want, pretty much.
Oh, nice.
But, it's like anything else. If you feel a little tweak, you slow down.
Right.
So
the advantage you've got is that you're in good shape already, right? So
it helps for sure, 100%.
Right. Right. Don't be trying to be Mr. Hardass and start working out in this 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've already been warned about that by just about everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Because I would.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's who we are.
It's just that's sitting around is the worst part, right? Yeah.
It's tough. But I'm looking at, like I said to you last week, it's an opportunity to really get into reading some more books and increasing my knowledge. Also gives me a great motivation to really get back at it.
Yeah.
Because it's always a constant, what am I training for?
Right. So you're 66 years old, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And Mark's statement to me today in the text was, I can't wait to get back and get better than I was before. I love that. Yeah. Oh, I was fired up. When you fired that text off to me, I was working out in March at the time. I can't remember. I was like, yeah.
So what I'm going to do now that I have the time, I'm going to lay out like 2 months of workouts, everything, including meditation, box breathing in the morning, stretching, which I'm guilty of not doing, not stretching and working on flexibility, and all the things that I should be doing, especially at this later time in life where you got to really stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
bounce back.
And that's the key thing too, right? Yeah, maybe we've learned more as we've gotten older. Maybe we have to adjust our workouts, certainly nail down our diet more. But don't let people tell you, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying to people out there, don't let people tell you that you can't continue to get better physically and mentally as you get older, right?
You know, I reread books, Tom, because sometimes you miss something.
Yeah.
And I'm reading a book now, and the gentleman he makes a statement that says, "Do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what they can't."
Yes. Yeah. Great. I've heard that say. I get some motivational things on my Spotify, and that speech is over and over. That's a classic. Yeah.
That's a real good one. So it's going to give me an opportunity. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good, bud. No, you do.
No, it's going to give me an opportunity to like kind of track everything I'm doing, and I've even went to I got supplements that have collagen, and I got some really healing type of natural proteins and things like that to kind of hopefully speed up the healing process.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Saturday morning, I had a long conversation with my book writer, and the book has taken way longer than we anticipated. But I'm so happy. I told him, I said, I'm so happy it has taken longer because, like, from hanging around with you and other people, I've learned so much more. Like, we had a great conversation about discipline and how, you know, the discipline to make your bed properly in the morning helps you with your discipline with your food. Your discipline of getting up at a certain time helps you with your food. You know, that whole discipline lifestyle. I've learned where it isn't just, okay, if you want to lose weight and get on a diet, it isn't just being disciplined with your diet. It's easier to do when your entire life is more disciplined, right? And I've had this conversation with him. I would not have had that conversation a year ago when we were going to, get the book. I just learned so much more about that.
So this morning, you know, I go on YouTube because it really is a great source of. You got to be careful. There's disinformation as well as information. You can kind of weed your way through it. It's common sense. But there was a title that caught. You know, they see what you like, and there's an algorithm, so they'll put up things that interest you.
Right.
And one was this morning. I apologize for my voice. Ever since they put that tube down.
Oh, that's right.
Anyhow, how to be miserable every day. Like, okay, so I got to see what this is about. Right. The first one was don't wake up on time.
Oh.
Don't make your bed.
Yeah.
Keep the house a mess. And it just goes through this whole litany of things. And it's like,
it's amazing. So just to the point. So I've really nailed down my diet lately. You know, I make my own ketchup and all this kind of stuff, my own fruit juices and everything. So on Friday, yes, I was in Costco and I had the urge to eat something bad. So my cheat day was having a steak. So at first I thought to myself, that's pretty weak. That's your cheat day, having a steak.
That's good.
But you know what's amazing though? Like, even though it was still a steak and it wasn't horrible, to me it was cheating, and it just ruined the weekend too. Like, then it affected my workouts. Then I was like putting on a regular shirt instead of it's unbelievable. It's even like things like putting on a regular t-shirt instead of my workout shirts.
Right.
And this morning I woke up and go, what am I doing? It wasn't awful or like that, but it's like, it's amazing how it worked.
You know, I'll be the first to tell you, and I think you'll agree, the male ego is pretty fragile.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to kind of, throw us off course mentally. But as long as you're aware of it, like you are, I think you can step back and go, hey, stop being silly.
Yeah.
Okay, I could have had a steak and 3 pizzas. Not going to make a difference.
I know. But it is like, and then this morning I was like mad at myself because I was like, get back to the regiment, get the process going again, and it was actually, I had a workout this morning. I was pounding inspiring today. I got so fired up for myself.
Yeah, well, it
is. Yeah.
It's interesting how we can look at not a failure, but a little bit of a blip in what we try to do and use that to remotivate ourselves again and say, you know what, no more, man.
Isn't it true? Yeah, come back better, right?
Yeah. And so that's why I'm I'm happy I had this done because it obviously had to be done.
Yeah.
And it gives me an opportunity now to really lay out a plan, stick to it, and drive myself into a better position.
See, I think that's a great lesson for everybody out there, right? And we've talked about it all the time. Listen, you are not perfect. Bad things are going to happen to you. Life's not fair. So when those bad things happen to you, they're coming. The more you've trained yourself to get out of your comfort zone. And again, we go back to, for me, you've done lots of things. For me, it's the whole air conditioning thing. It's like that. Okay, so now if something comes up, the big thing that I really thought I learned from the whole air conditioning thing was to not to just try to fight through the heat. Just try to say, I'm not hot. I'm just not paying attention to it. It's just not part of this thing. So, yeah.
Well, I think we spoke last week privately, and I said to you that Bum Phillips, who was a Houston Oilers coach back in the 70s, he said, failure becomes failing when you blame it on someone else.
Yeah, true. I like that. He's good. I didn't realize he was that motivational. You had a few quotes you have in mind.
maybe not motivational, but the best one was someone asked him, Coach, why do you always bring your wife on the road trips? He said, that's easy. She's too ugly to kiss goodbye. And like,
that's terrible.
yeah.
Did you watch a lot of football on the weekend?
Unfortunately, yeah. Tom, I'm a Jets fan.
Oh, that's right.
And,
yes.
And I keep going back to the trough.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It's garbage.
Well, you know what? I had this conversation with Kevin Allen before, and you're in the fitness and everything. So now it seems like more and more it's becoming a trend to have the starters not participate in anything in training camp, any of the games anyways, and no hitting. Yeah. Minnesota's got this whole thing even during the season now where they're hitting. And they're talking all week, all during the shows, all the broadcasters and everything about how out of shape some of the guys are, not all of them. And that now these first few regular season games are going to become like preseason games where they're trying to figure things out. And I'm thinking, really, these guys can't be in shape and hit during the preseason?
Yeah. So football, to me, if you don't have an offensive line, you can't play. Yeah, totally. And the Jets' offensive line is awful.
Man, I feel bad for Flacco. He couldn't move much. He's getting older, but man, he got pounded. Yeah.
I mean, he got pounded, and they hand the ball for 3 yards and a punt. Yeah. And the other thing that I noticed, both the Ravens and Jets, it was a boring game to watch. Yeah. And you kind of start to say maybe there's too many teams, almost, because it dilutes the talent. But I think there's an analogy between hockey and football. So in hockey, you need 2 goaltenders, right? Because somebody's going to go down at some point in the season. Same thing in football. If you don't have 2 quality quarterbacks, it's very tough to be competitive.
Yeah, totally. And it's shame because Flacco won MVP of the Super Bowl. At the top and all that kind of stuff. So.
Jersey guy too. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. And he can do it. He's shown that he can do it before. So
you have to have the tools. I mean, you have to have somebody to hand the ball to. You have to have somebody. But again, if you don't have the line, if you don't have an offensive line, you're in big trouble.
I know, and but even like the kicking, you are all around the league. Some of the kicking, the field goals, and everything was off. I just feel like so I didn't go to the game. I'm still watching on TV, right? So, but the people that pay big money to go to the game, I would assume that they're thinking, I want my guys ready to go when the regular season starts. This thing, they're not in shape. So,
yeah, it still did. To your point, it still looked like preseason.
Yeah. Oh, it did really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another bump. I didn't bump Phillips from Jack Smith here. The only discipline that lasts is self-discipline. Very nice.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And again, and I agree with that too. It's just I have just learned so much from people like you, Mark, that just about that discipline being throughout your life too. You can still do it. Let's say we use that diet as the example again. You can flip the switch, but it's so much easier when your whole life is disciplined. And it doesn't mean you have to be like so rigid with your life that you're not enjoying it. I love my life. Somebody asked me recently whether I have any regrets from the past. No. And I had to think about it for a sec, but I said, no, because everything that happened to me in the past, good
got you to where you are now.
And I'm just so much more happy with my life now than I've ever been. And don't get me wrong, I loved playing in the National Hockey League. It was a dream come true, but I hope I say this the right way. I feel like so much better person in every way now than I was when I played. So
absolutely. And it's the old age adage when you got a kid in the locker room, open your ears and shut your mouth. Yeah. And watch Tom Laidlaw prepare for the game.
Yeah.
He's been in the league 10 years. Watch what he does, see how and why he does that and why you need to do those things.
Yeah. It is funny because I was always like, for me, I didn't fight. Came in, showed that I could fight, but then I didn't fight a whole lot. It was more because for me, getting all wound up, getting ready for those fights, I couldn't concentrate. Yeah. And my game had to be as a defensive is about reading and reacting, right? I found myself when I relaxed before the game, when I got traded out to LA, I was really a veteran player by then, and Tiger Woods was playing. We were playing a preseason game. And I had a pretty good, I was always talking in the locker room before the game, having fun, trying to keep loose. For me, it was much for me just to relax. I knew I'd be ready. I knew once it was time to go out there, I knew what I had to do. But I wanted to relax before, so I wasn't getting all wound up. And Tiger said to the young kids on the team, kind of lectured him. He was a real good team guy this way too. Mm-hmm. I said, listen, don't you guys, and this is a preseason game too. I don't know how he does it. And he's talking about me. I said, I don't know how he does it, but that's what he does to get ready for the game. That doesn't mean you have to do the same thing. And it was really a good lesson to the kids. And I got on and said, yeah, you got to do what's right for you. So,
yeah, those habits become who you are, and if they're good habits, you're going to have good results. I know that, years ago, people say, hey, don't you get nervous before you box or something like that? I said, no, because I prepared. I'm prepared.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way later on in my career too. I really felt like that. Like I'd done so many times. I knew what I had to do, prepare. So you go out on the ice, you're just totally confident. But it is still interesting that even though you have that confidence, you still lose it sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. We're human. I mean, it's easy to get to, it gets back to what we were speaking to earlier about, like, just how we can let a negative thought overcome our thinking.
Yeah.
And then when you analyze the negative thought, it's either irrational or it's catastrophic and it's not real.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they say keep it simple, stupid is a good theory, right? KISS theory.
Yeah. And, coaching is, to me, like, tell the team, listen, work your game, do your job, and make them make a great play. They make a great play. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But force them into making a great play.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you like killing penalties. I kill penalties a lot, right? Yeah. So it's 5-on-4, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if Wayne Gretzky's going to make a nice saucer pass through the box or to Yuri Curry, there's nothing you can do about it.
Not much you can do about that. Yeah. Except dig it out of the back of the net.
Totally, that's true too. That's why, like, Gretzky was unbelievable. When I got traded out there to the Kings, and he was still in Edmonton, so I played against him before, obviously, but then to play against him more because we're in the same division. And at that point, I felt like really confident about my abilities to kill penalties. In fact, I was pretty cocky about it. I was like, I'll stop anybody, And then, so it's the same thing with Ovechkin now, where he gets so far out of the box, you're thinking there's just no way, but he does it again. And Yuri Curry was like that too, where I was like, okay, I've been here before. I'm taking away the box. I've got the passing lane. It's not there. But Gretzky would and he'd do the saucer pass. Land flat right in front of Curry's stick, and he'd one time it. I tell you, sometimes they'd look at you too, like, yeah, you thought you had us, didn't you?
I think one of the, Gretz always would turn up, go 5 feet in, turn up, and he did that on the left wall, and he did a backhand sauce right across the blue line, like right on Curry's tape.
I can imagine what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, man.
And Curry knew no one else in the building knows it's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's amazing. You talk about the mental part of somebody. Wayne Gretzky, to me, I'd like to get inside his brain and really analyze it, right? Because I believe he really felt like at a young age, because again, I played against him when he was like 14, 15 years old in junior, and I was a couple years older than him. And even then, he was just like, we tried to kill him and you just couldn't get him. It just, I think he had this, people ask about him. And again, he wasn't the best skater. He didn't have the hardest shot. He wasn't tough. His upper body, there was no muscle on. His legs were all muscle. He figured, I'm not hitting anybody. Why carry all that extra muscle weight on my upper? It's just his mind playing the game is just unbelievable. It's just,
So, guys, a guy like Gretzky or Mario Lemieux or name any tremendously skilled player, it's the skill set, but more importantly is the mindset and how they can read the game and have an understanding of what they could do. And they make everybody better around them.
Right. And that desire, like even at a young age, to seem to me with Gretzky was that he decided he was going to be the best player of the game. Yeah. He didn't need to talk to it about anybody else. And even still today, when he talks about other players, he doesn't call himself the best player. He says Gordie Howe's best player.
Right. So, and the old adage, the best players are always first one on, last one off.
Yeah.
The summer when I was up in New York, got a call from Brian Leach. He said, I got a new pair of skates. Can you meet me at the rink? I live in Jersey. I'm going, really? Drive up there and put out of the box, put the skates on, throw some pucks in the corner. And he just started working in the corner. And you're standing there going, he doesn't need to be doing this now. It's freaking July or August or whatever it was. But that's why he's Brian Leach.
Right. And it's like you said before, he knows, whether he knows it consciously or not, he knows by doing that work, when he gets out on the ice of the game, he's going to be so confident in himself because he knows he's done the work, right? Yeah. That is true. Because I remember, again, going back to killing penalties. So a lot of times, you're getting, let's say I'm on my offside, I've got the puck along the boards, I've got to backhand the puck out, but I've got to get it up in the air. So I would go to practice before practice and get the bucket of pucks, and I would practice that over.
Absolutely.
So during the game, once I did it, I felt, yes, it's a risky play in some ways, right? Because if you don't get it up over the defenseman, then you're giving him the puck. But I felt so confident in doing it that,
Well, they like to say, don't practice something until you can do it right. Practice it until you can't do it wrong.
Yeah, totally. That was a good feeling. It's funny looking back at that. That was a good feeling, like being out there all by myself and doing it and then getting it done right and then do it over and over, getting done right. Yeah.
And coaching staff sees that you can make that play consistently. And that's the value. The value to the team's immense. Maybe the casual fan doesn't notice it because it looks just like, it's a play. but for the coaching staff and your team too. I mean, when they see you make that play, it builds their confidence.
And when they know that you've worked at it too, because now they're saying, okay, he can do it because he's practiced it. So no, that's a cool feeling. I got to tell you, like, and even a thing like that, like you said, fans don't notice it. Maybe nobody notices at all, but you notice it, and your teammates notice you've done the work too. Like that's a big thing for kids coming up, or even adults, whatever. If your workplace, when your coworkers, your teammates, whatever, if you're a child playing some sport, if they see that you've done the work on something, and that you go on days, and you know what, even if you make a mistake during the game, like even if I screwed up, they're going to say, oh, okay, well, it just didn't work. It just didn't work that time, man.
Yeah, sometimes one of the things I like to do when I used to coach is the simple play, do it over and over and over and over. And, my mindset's always been when it's behind my blue line, that's the only concern. I don't care about anything else. Yeah. So I always told the team in our zone, it's you do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Neutral zone is conservative. You get in the offensive zone, that's your playground. Have fun.
Yeah.
And so the first pass, that outlet pass, and better than anybody else, Tom, that'll keep you around the league for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and you'll get more W's than L's if you can make that simple outlet play. But it's overlooked sometimes.
And that's again, I was at I talked to a bunch of kids recently. I can't remember where it was. That's what I said to them. I said, listen, I was never the best player on any team I ever played on, but coaches just knew that what they were going to get from me. It wasn't
consistency.
Fancy. Yeah, there's that first pass out of the zone.
Yeah,
I've told you the story about my junior coach, right? The Rick A. There was that breakup.
Yeah.
I remember hating it so much, and why is he picking on me kind of mentality. But because of that, it was an automatic for me. I really missed on that play. The only thing that's funny, we get to the NHL level, you just assume that the winger's always going to be on the hash mark there for you, right? It was pretty much 100% of the time it's going to happen. At the end of my career, when I hurt my back, they sent me down to the minors to play for a couple of games. So I'd be coming around the back of the neck, and
there's no one there.
Yeah, automatically throw it there, and the guy wouldn't be there. I looked like an idiot. Like even the guys on the team I know, they're looking like, I thought you played in the NHL. Like, Jack brings up a good point here about Gordie Howe. He played so getting into his head too. A guy like Gordie Howe said to play till 52 years old, right?
Yeah. So for everything I've read and heard about Gordie is that you're gonna miss a few body parts if you come near him.
Yeah.
And I think with that mindset, it tells you that it's all business with him, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win.
Right. And what a great guy. He traveled around with us when I was out in LA when Gretz was about to break his records, and Gretz went for a couple of games without scoring. So Gordie traveled with us for like a week. And it's just so nice being around, like, because you see all the videos of this mean, big, tough player. Gentle man, like this kind, sweet, like he's sweet and everything. It's like
I heard a story when he was with the Red Wings. He went to Detroit Tigers stadium. I forget the name of it. Took batting practice, and he was just blasting them out of the ballpark. Yeah. And I guess somebody on the team said, "Man, it's incredible hockey and baseball." He goes, "You should see me bowl."
Oh, is that? That's funny.
Like, I could do it all.
I saw a video recently. I don't know where it was from or what it was. Gretzky's in the video. It's like 3 other big star sports from different sports, and they're having a 100-yard dash inside an arena someplace. And he's got looks like he just got done playing tennis. He's got the white shorts on and everything. And I hadn't seen it before. I thought, this is going to end bad. Gretzky can't run. He's not an athlete like that. Smoked him.
Wasn't he also drafted by Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's the same way. Yeah, a lot of guys are like, again, I'm one of the few guys that can't play golf. Most guys that play hockey are just fantastic golfers, right?
Yeah.
They got the swing and the hip movement and all that kind
of stuff. Tom Glavine, I believe, was drafted by the Bruins.
It was the Bruins or Kings, but he was
one of the teams. Yeah, he was drafted.
Yeah. Obviously, we just 9/11 just passed for us too. We had two at the Kings. Mark Davis. I know you posted something. I think, didn't you?
And then Ace Bailey as well.
Yeah, that was a sad day.
So
we did a fundraiser for the Bavis at a foundation up there in Boston for Mark Davis, and we involved some fundraisers years ago, like 15, 20 years ago or something like that. But
so yesterday, I want to really compliment my partner Ted Curtin.
Oh, that's right. You had that event.
Yeah, you know what? I obviously couldn't make it yesterday, but Ted just did a tremendous job, Tom. It was a phenomenal event. You'll see some videos if you go on the website, on Facebook or whatever. They just had the guys lined up. We had 4 nets, 2 on each end, and guys just kept shooting pucks, taking shots on net. I don't know how the goaltenders held up, But so we had the Warrior team was there, a bunch of first responders from New York and New Jersey. That particular rink I've never been to, but it's in a mall, so it kind of goes up levels that surround the rink, and there were a lot of people watching. They have an electronic scoreboard, and on a scoreboard throughout the entire time was the name of every person we lost on 9/11. Yeah, and a couple, Kenny Danico was there and Colin White, and they were out there shooting pucks and helping out.
And the idea is with the all the people that passed away.
So what I had 2 years ago was still COVID. And I think I mentioned this to you. I don't know if I did on the show or not, but a good friend of mine, Blake Costanza, had played 9 years in the NFL. There's a guy right there's a great story. Lafayette, small school, made the New York Jets as a walk-on, ended up playing 9 years as a linebacker and also special teams. And anyhow, we got together. I called him up a couple of days before. I said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the park, and we're going to do 2,977 reps to honor everybody. Squats, push-ups, pull-ups, punches, whatever it took. And we did it. So about a month ago, and just about a month ago, I said to Ted, why don't we do that with shots on goal?
Yeah, cool.
And then it just took off from there. So it was kind of, as Ted would say, written on a cocktail napkin, the concept. And it was a really great event. It's going to be an annual thing now.
Oh, cool.
The rink was
in the mall.
Yeah. The rink was not overexcited, just extremely happy and the way things went. And there were a lot of people there. It was a really cool event. Cool event.
Well, it's a great thing to do, just but for the mall's sake, it draws people in the mall too. So it's
So we raised money for Tunnel to Towers as well. Okay. So they had somebody who benefited, a Marine who had lost his legs over, I don't know if it was Iraq or Afghanistan, but he was there as a representative from Tunnel to Towers. So it was a and again, Ted Curtin, tremendous job to all the Warriors and first responders and everybody that participated. Was really cool.
I've been very fortunate. Herb Brooks coached me, and I was one of his boys. So I've kept in touch with the family over the years. And so talking to the daughter, they've got this Herb Brooks Foundation. Yeah, where they do some good stuff, not limited to, but mainly Minnesota there. And they're thinking of coming out here and doing some kind of an event. I'll let you know what's going on. It's just
that'd be great.
This weekend. Yeah, do a fundraiser. Yeah, good stuff.
Herb so that was again, Ted, thank you so much for he. Listen, Tom, that's a dude.
Yeah, he's
a pit bull. He's a pit bull. He will not. The word no is not in his vocabulary. He just keeps going and going and going. Until
really creative guy too, right? Isn't he?
Extremely creative. Yeah. And he's a marketing guru, I would say. Yeah. So he really knows how to get the word out and to get the most eyes on an event as possible.
See, I think that's a real skill too. Like that's
absolutely.
That is good. Yeah.
And we have our next big event will be October, I believe the 10th. We have a golf outing. And that's our next major event. And again, Ted is running with that bull and just,
We should do, we did this before. We were joking around, we were going to do it with Larry Melnick, but we should do it anyways. I'm friends with the guys that own the Gotham Comedy Club down the city, and Levity Live in the Palisades Mall.
Yeah.
And we did one before. We didn't promote it properly, but we did like a comedy show. Colton Orr and I got up. And it's good. Had comedians come in. It was fantastic. And it's an easy event to, like, for a fundraiser. It's an easy event to put together. It's they work with us on ticket pricing and promoting it and all that kinds of stuff. So if you ever want to do
tremendous. Yeah, let's do it. That'd be tremendous.
It's a lot of fun too, because again, it's not. All credit to Ted in the world for doing all that work, but this one's just kind of lazy.
Plug it in and go. Yeah.
So, Gotham Comedy Club, and actually in Levity Live in the mall. Actually, we I'm loosely on the board of this Warrior for Life Fund down in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
And Craig Carton and his partner Evan Roberts had a comedy night down at Gotham Comedy Club, and the money they raised, I think it was like $10,000, went to the Warrior for Life Fund. So it's pretty cool.
Those are always a great time too.
Yeah, those are a blast. Yeah. And Craig's got, everybody knows Craig Carton does the morning show. He's got a fantastic sense of humor. And Evan, his partner, who's a little bit more the straight man, he was funny too. He got up and did a skit. I guess it's funny. He did it publicly. He was talking about his sex life with his wife. And I happened to be sitting right beside his wife, and she was very calm, woman and everything like that. But obviously he had told her in advance that he was going to be doing this, and she was having a ball with it. It's fantastic. He was great too. Craig can be, if you watch him, he can be a little bit of a smart ass and picking on people, everything. So I think he was prepared to really go after Evan, thinking he wouldn't do a good job. But once he got done, Craig was like, "Wow, you nailed it." It was a fun night. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's do it. That'd be tremendous.
Yeah. Here's Jack put this up before, and we were talking, and I just saw this. Gordy was farm boy strong, didn't suffer from muscle. Do you think that's true? Like you see all these injuries, like baseball players and stuff now are having like overtraining or something. Is it?
No, my view is that it's too much artificial help.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, years ago, Keith Parker, who was a equipment guy here in New Jersey, he had been with the Capitals before he came up here, and we were talking. He said, "Yeah, I won't mention the player's name. I'll tell you later." But he said, "Hey, this guy keeps pulling this." I says, "Because he's juicing. He's doing steroids. Because what it does is it dries out your ligament and tendon attachments."
Oh, is that right?
And what it also does, Tom, is that we have a Golgi tendon, and that tendon is to prevent your muscle from producing too much force that it pulls off the tendon or the ligament attachment.
Right.
And steroids override that tendon. So that's why you'll see guys that do steroids roll a bicep or tear a pec. I mean,
when you're saying steroids, you're talking
anabolics.
Anabolics there. So you're not talking testosterone, but
testosterone. Those are all all anabolic steroids are a version of testosterone. So testosterone is the one that causes muscle growth, amongst other things. Poor decisions as well. But yeah.
What is it, testosterone? You naturally have testosterone in your body.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And those levels of testosterone decrease over time, right?
Yeah. As soon as so two things decrease: testosterone levels and growth hormone. Pretty much when you pass the age of 25. What the issue is, and it differs from man to man, but you may lose more than the next guy or not as much. And if they do get too low, you'll get lethargic, you'll have low libido, you'll get muscle loss, you get depression. So there are benefits to what they call testosterone replacement therapy. Right. What has occurred, though, is it's become big business.
Right.
So you can call clinics down in Florida and say, hey, I want to do a blood test. They'll take a blood test. Like you go to a local one, they send down the results, and they'll say, you're 35 years old, your level should be 700 plus, and you're at 600. So they'll send you testosterone because they can write a script. Problem is, what they're going to do is they're going to take you from 600 to 2,000.
Right.
So a lot of guys.
So you believe in the testosterone replacement if it's done properly?
If you need it. Yeah. So a lot of guys are utilizing it as a way to say, I'm not doing steroids, I'm doing testosterone replacement therapy. And there's a famous story about a doctor up in Canada. His last name escapes me, but there's some pretty high profile athletes that got caught up with him that had perfectly normal testosterone levels, but he was writing scripts as TRT.
Right. So, I mean, there's some, and again, I want to be careful here. So people are listening to this. I don't want to talk people in there saying we're condoning testosterone like that. It's just interesting studying it. There's some people out there that believe if it's done properly, you monitor your blood levels and everything, that it, like again, to get it back to the regular levels that you're at can actually be beneficial for older people.
Yeah.
Right.
No question. And the thing is, though, to bring them back to normal levels. So like someone my age, anything, I think, north of 350 to 700 is considered healthy. Mine happens to be fairly high.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of it is your diet too, right? Like you can really
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Duffy will love this. Rest.
Yeah.
And sleep, proper sleep. So diet, proper sleep. And you want to raise your testosterone? Go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because when you stress the body, it's going to release GH and it's going to release testosterone.
Right. And again, there's a difference between testosterone and HGH. HGH is a human growth hormone. Right. I'm really scared of that stuff because anything in your body, including cancer cells, will go up. Yeah.
So, but again, the problem becomes, Tom, that go to any gym, go to any local gym, and you'll see a bunch of guys walking around in their 40s and 50s that are really jacked.
Yeah.
And you get to talk, oh yeah, I'm doing TRT. I was saying, no, you're not. You're doing steroids.
They all got the same jaw too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the same tribal armband.
Yeah. That's good. Dom, do you think you could have gotten by with diet and food now that you eat now? Absolutely. I'd be better. I just had no clue what I was putting in my body. I mean, I have sometimes before a game, we'd sit in Madison Square Garden in the room off the side there and eat chocolate chip cookies, 3 hours before the game. That sugar is rushing in, and it's terrible for you.
I think, did you play with Mario Marois, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think he used to eat like a big piece of wedding cake before every game.
Yeah. We had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
We'd go to the bar after practice, whatever, and get a big plate of French fries with gravy on them, cheeseburgers, and about 12 beers. And now, I tell you, I was all weirded out because I ate a steak the other day.
You got depressed from it.
Yeah. I had to get therapy because I ate a steak.
Yeah. Why are you here today, Tom? I had a steak.
Oh, what? God. Ruined my whole weekend.
Yeah. No, but it's true. I mean, you put so much time and effort into eating correctly, getting your proper nutrition and sleep, and working out hard. Yeah. And again, that's one of the pitfalls we all can fall into. Oh man, I just ruined everything. No, you didn't. It's okay.
I know. Isn't that true? Same thing with the cheat day. People say, I just think the whole mentality of a cheat day, you're not eating bad food, is that I don't look at it that I'm losing out on something by eating healthy food. I feel like I'm getting myself better, right?
Right. At the end of the day, food is we eat for muscle tissue repair and energy. Other than that, it's really all we need it for.
That is, and that's the switch that's happened right now. You watch all these commercials. It's about food. Is about family getting together, and enjoyment. And
it is we have an emotional attachment to food. Think about when we're kids. A kid does something good, you give them an ice pop.
Yeah.
Right. So now, as an adult, you feel a little depressed. You want to treat yourself and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You get that emotional feedback from eating an ice pop.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing I've learned too, and I did it like all other coaches that used to do in the past. Was if kids have done something wrong playing hockey, for example, you do wind sprints. So now you're training the kid that wind sprints, the conditioning is bad because you've done something wrong. Instead of having it, and Herb Brooks was great at this. He had it planned throughout the year. It was not about getting mad at us and skating us. There was a plan. Jack Blatherwick, your buddy, he'd have it all set. We'd love Jack because Jack wasn't about torturing us. Jack was about getting us in good shape. So
bring it right to here, keep you there.
Yeah.
So what I would often do, professional game obviously is a lot different, but with an amateur hockey team, I don't really care what age. I would set up drills in practice that were competitive. And they didn't realize they were really doing some conditioning work.
Sure. Yeah.
But loose puck drills and all that kind. They love that stuff. Yeah. And they're really banging out a great conditioning workout.
Yeah. John Tonelli was a really good coach when I coached him. He was really big on that. We do these little short games like behind the goal line, those little small area games where guys had to compete, fight through each other. And
yeah. So one of the things that I learned, I won't take credit for this. I forget I think Dave Tippett. He said, with amateur teams, and we all know this, you get on the ice, all they want to do is shoot pucks. They all want to shoot pucks. So he said, get it out of their system. The first thing when the guys get on the ice, the guys and the girls, set up the nets on the blue line and play a 5-minute game of 3-on-3. It'll get it out of their system. Now they've come down a bit and they're ready to run.
Good point. That's good too. Yeah, and the other was too, don't sit around too long explaining the drill, right? No. I mean, have it nailed down.
Keep it simple. Because hockey's, most sports are pretty simple if you think about it. Yeah. Don't overcomplicate and do not teach systems.
I know. Too much teaching. Just
standing around and they don't learn anything.
I know.
The system works if you can take that backhand pass on a PK and elevate it. Then it worked, but you only did it because you did that shot 20,000 times.
Nothing worse than the practice, especially when you're teaching kids that are in school all day long. So they've got teachers lecturing them, and you come to practice and you want to have a good, an hour-long practice, and you're standing around doing nothing.
They want to have fun.
Definitely. All right, brother. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. You are a machine. Everybody else will be in bed, intravenous, sticking out of their tubes all over the place.
I haven't seen Beth since Thursday. She ran away.
Left. That's not true. She took care of you.
She did a great job.
Hold on. Barry's asking one more question here from Barry. Do you remember Coach used to bring a chalkboard to rank up practices? Are you making fun of my age, Barry? Is that what you're doing? That's a good question. I'm trying to think back to some of my coaches when I was a kid. I'm sure there's coaches that brought the chalkboard out there.
Some guys write on the glass.
Yes.
Some guys write on the ice.
Some rinks don't like that when you use the eraser that does not erase, and they do it on the glass. Yeah. Well, good to see you again. You're a tough dude. I was going to say old man, but you're not an old man. You're a machine. a good example here, and again, I'm very serious when I say this. I may embarrass you a little bit here, but here's a good example. So here's a guy 66 years old, just got done surgery, and the goal here is to not just get rid of the pain, but it's to get better after the surgery. So
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's the way to live life. That's the way. All right, brother. It's good to see you again. See you next week.
Bye, brother.